And I'm Peter Cook here on Capitol Hill, where in just a matter of moments, the House of Representatives is going to be voting to authorize loan guarantees to Ukraine, a financial lifeline to Ukraine. And I'm joined now by one of the key players in all this here in the House of Representatives. That is the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Ed Royce of California. Chairman Royce, thank you for the time. I know you're getting set to vote here. On this issue, support for Ukraine, it sounds like, despite some criticisms of President Obama, in terms of a response, Republicans and Democrats on the same page?
Oh, I think not just here, Republicans and Democrats, but I just talked with the German ambassador. As you know, Europe is moving today with their proposal. Out of my committee, we just moved a vote, unanimous vote, in order to sort of move in unison and put pressure on Russia so that they're not emboldened and so that hopefully they'll move in the direction of ratcheting down this crisis rather than stepping it up.
It doesn't feel like things are ratcheting down. At this point, we have this effort at a referendum in Crimea. Where do you sense this is? How dangerous is this right now?
My primary focus right now is on eastern Ukraine, on the eastern third of the country. And as you know, there is concern here that Putin might try to go city hall by city hall and have his agents put up Russian flags and try to split the country. We know from our consultation with representatives in that part of the country, the vote was overwhelmingly for independence in all parts of Ukraine. The vote has been overwhelmingly in support of the impeachment of the former president and this new government. So the goal is to keep Ukraine together, to help it, to help them isolate Russia diplomatically and economically, to help bolster the Ukraine at this time.
Well, let me ask you about the economic sanctions component to this. Your committee just debated some of these issues. The president basically put the threat on the table this morning to freeze the assets of individuals. Do you think the assets, for example, of President Putin should be targeted right here?
Well, senior Russian officials, and that would include Putin, but it would include the oligarchs. It would include those who have been involved in pushing for these policies, and that is in order to give second thoughts to the Russians in terms of continuing to escalate the crisis and to those around Putin. And certainly there is an awful lot of money in Western banks.
Should be taken, or should the threat should be out there?
The way in which the European Council proposed this today is that this is the threat that hangs over Russia should Russia not start to de-escalate the crisis. And I think that's what is to be used for, is that type of leverage. And it's in the legislation that we passed out. We reference the same approach. And as a matter of fact, there are a lot of state-run banks in Russia that would be very susceptible to asset freezes on issues having to do with an investigation by Treasury Department on money laundering, which is a big issue for the Russians.
How worried are you about retaliation against U.S. companies doing business in Russia?
The point is that we have to have enough pressure to get Russia to cease and desist before they open up a second front here in eastern Ukraine. And the only way to do it is to have Europe and the United States move in tandem and let them know that there would be costs to doing that. If we effectively do this, then I think we can back them down from escalating the crisis. Now, right now, negotiations are going on. Putin is talking with Merkel, Chancellor Merkel, who speaks Russian. The Germans and the French are trying to figure out a way to send to him the message. Here's what's on the table. Let's jointly try to decrease the tensions.
All right, Chairman Royce, no, you got to get in there for the vote. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Ed Royce, before this vote to throw Ukraine a financial lifeline of sorts, $1 billion in loan guarantees. Mark?
Peter Cook, Congressman Royce, thank you so much.